Welcome to the Redirect Podcast. This is where we dive into real conversations, share stories, and just hang out talking about finding our purpose in retirement. We're glad you're along for the ride, and let's get into it. Here we are again, guys. Glad to be with you again. Thank you for coming together, and I think it's going to be a good one to check in on you guys and your retirement. And specifically, let's do a State of the Union, a retirement wellness check, if you will. So, like you go in for your annual medical check-in, or you take your car into the garage, pop the hood, and let's see how things are running up underneath there. So, to kick things off, I want to ask you, describe in just one word, how retirement is going so far. Dale, how about we start with you?
Wow. How retirement's going. First I guess it's almost 6
months.
One word.
Yeah, you're using like 12 words there, buddy.
One word.
My one word. All right, you're going to get me down to one word. One word, I would say, is adventure.
Nice.
I think that's my word.
Perfect. Curt, how about you?
Curious.
I like that. Let's explore those in just a moment. So Dale, how you've been retired for how long now?
I've been retired since, I guess realistically, I've been redirected since January.
Love it. So you're technically still well, Curt might be a toddler. You're a baby in the redirection.
I am a newborn.
So at the time of this recording, it's 6 months. You're 6 months into the game.
6 months into the game. Yep.
Curt, how about you?
Well, I retired in September of 2023, so I've got 1 year, 9 months, and if you want to convert that, that's 21 months if we're talking baby talk.
That's right. You're a toddler.
Wow. Toddler. What size shirt would I buy, Curt? I guess.
I'm out of the onesies. Don't give me any onesies. I want licensed
Is it
products.
2T?
Yeah, I want licensed products. Like, give me a mini Josh Allen jersey.
Guy.
All right.
2T, Josh Allen. I got
That's it.
All right.
All right. So let's explore for a second your one-word responses. Dale, you chose adventure as a one-word summary for your State of the Union. Why adventure?
Well, adventure's always been at the heart of how I've kind of lived my life. I mean, I think back on, the opportunity to start businesses, the opportunity actually going way back to come to Cincinnati, and adventure's always been the way I've looked at it. And I've looked at whatever the next I guess phase of my life was going to be. And while there's so many aspects to this little checkup, I think, for me, it's looking for the kind of what's new, keep stepping back to look at what's going to be how do I look at this as another adventure, whether it's the travel or the cycling or whatever I'm going to do. It's just been part of me to always approach these things as, little adventures. And this is not unlike that. This is new, different. Some of the adventures are great. Some of them aren't. But trying it and just stepping out. And I think if there's one word, that really, really has come into focus, in addition to adventure, is stepping out. And that's kind of, for me, a part of the adventure.
So that's an extension of your personality and probably the way you've
lived
life in general. So Curt, tell us about why you chose the word you chose.
Well, the word was curious, but I'm a bit uncomfortable. I'm sort of unsettled, and I'm watching how things evolve. As Dale says in his work world, was creating adventures and experiences. And I have this tendency to sort of get in my lane and just focus on my lane. And that's something that I'm trying to change my personality to be more adventuresome like Dale is. And that's another reason why I love Dale and being in his world, because he helps me see all of the potential that's out there. So I'm still trying to figure it out, but I have to be able to widen my experiences. So I'm enjoying this, but I'm unsettled. I'm not in that sweet spot yet. And I don't think I should be at a year and 9 months in. I really don't.
As you talk about being curious, it's interesting. All the conversations that I've been having goes to if there was a second word, my word was curious. I mean, curious was my second word after adventure. But I think what I really understand is happening right now, at least certainly for me as it reflects on what you were just talking about, is work in progress, Curt. And I'm sensing that this is going to be a long work in progress, because I think part of this trip is we have the opportunity to do whatever we want to do. We're choosing to spend a lot of time on this podcast, but that's our adventure. That's what you grabbed onto. That's the adventure for me. I think what you're feeling from my standpoint, and I kind of feel the same thing, is the opportunity to do whatever you want to do. It's not you're not trying to force what you're going to do into anybody else's lane. It's your lane now. And having that lane and being able to make decisions about that, aren't we going to be unsettled for a long time?
You're right. What we're doing with the Redirect podcast is an adventure. And I'm pretty open, as I think we've heard on the podcast, is that I am high, and then I also have some lows. And yes, there are tremendous highs, and I've had a lot of highs. But there's also the aspect that I didn't have a good day today, or I'm not feeling good about where I'm at.
So let's jump into it. I got a lot of questions, not a few. I got a lot. So here we go. We're going to run at them. Are your current expenses aligning with your retirement income sources?
Yes.
I'm going to say yes and no.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is that, yeah, we're living within our means. When I did the budget, we've talked about that. Make sure before you make the decision in pre-retirement, you take a look at what your expenses are, analyze what's coming in through Social Security or retirement funds and all that stuff, and making sure that you can survive. We are meeting those expectations, yes. However, life gets in the way.
Yeah,
I had to do $4,000 work on my car. I had to, we had to do this little emergency project. Oh, even though they might be somewhat planned, but that does disrupt the situation here a little bit. And for me, what do I need to do about this? I need to create some accumulating opportunities, because I need that feeling as well that I'm bringing money in again, as opposed to just pushing money out.
And you can only sell so many kidneys. So
So before we leave this question, my answer was yes. I too had done a budget. One thing that we had done was try to pay off a lot of things before I entered redirection, and just to limit that monthly net that we had to hit, to go ahead and use the money we had saved and pay off the house, pay off the car. Those are big ones that we don't have to. What's surprising, with in our little check here at 6 months, are the size of the golf expenses, which is real. And I'm very used to paying for lunches. When you're, doing a job or business, and that all of a sudden it's like, Dale, we don't have expense reports anymore, and what I'm finding with other people that have gone through this is the fact that, hey, you know what? We just split everything.
Yep.
Because we're just so
that's good advice,
we've had
I need to listen to that.
That adjustment. I mean, that's something that, okay, I can feel I'm spending too much. I didn't expect to have that golf expense, but holy cow, when you're doing something that you really love, there's an expense to it. I've got to offset that somewhere else. So this work in progress thing that we're talking about is real.
Next question. Are you engaging in activities that bring you joy and purpose? Dale.
My answer is yes. And purpose, I'm still working on that. Joy, the garden and golf and cycling and doing a lot of things with my wife right now. That's all. That's all really good.
Curt?
I'm also yes. Redirect you. What we're doing here is a form of purpose, and I do get joy out of it. At the church, I'm involved with our kids club program, so I'm there on Sundays working with second and third graders and just enjoying their time, which brings me tons of joy. And Dale, you mentioned a lot of different things that I didn't even think about that, because I'm thinking of these bigger entities, these organizations or these things, because that's where my mind is. And it's like, and I have to be more aware and accessible to say, yeah, doing stuff with Jackie brings me joy, and it is a sense of purpose because we're working on a relationship. So thank you for that little comment there, Dale.
And taking care of your chickens.
And to your point though, Curt, and you made me think of some of the bigger things, but being a grandfather and spending time with my grandkids, massively high. And the work I also am doing kind of on an ad hoc basis for the church, being at Undivided or being at just doing unity and belonging, just being available for people there, because that does help me in meeting my goal of serving God, serving family, serving friends, serving the podcast.
Speaking of goals, next question. Are there still goals you're looking to achieve? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
No.
Ooh.
Interesting. Curt, not surprised. So, just wait till the next question. Dale, why no?
Why no? Because I'm trying to focus on being in the present. When I start thinking about goals right now, and this is just in this season, this is in this 6 months, I'm saying, all of a sudden I'm like, I'm trying not to be so goal oriented. I've been so goal oriented for 40 years, on meeting these goals that, my wife calls if you listen to her podcast, she says, I kind of bump along. I'm trying to learn some of that. And that's why my immediate answer was, I'm trying to learn not to be so goal oriented, because I'm trying to be kind of in the present.
All right. Next question. Are you maintaining meaningful relationships and or connecting with old relationships?
Yes, I am. Again, work in progress. A big aha moment for me was I am neurodivergent. I am ADD off the chart, right? Because I had a couple hard incidences a couple years ago, I can't take any kind of medication that's going to, help reduce the impact of ADD. A big impact is maintaining relationships. If you haven't lived in that world or know that world, you just tend to have relationships, and then you move on, and somehow the way it works chemically is, sometimes you got to work really hard at focus. You got to reach out, you got to step out, and you got to be really kind of focused on things like that. So, and having more time for retired friends. I got a lot of friends who are retired, and being able to call them, step out and call them, not be the one that sits back and waits for the call, is part of the maintaining relationships. And that's really important right now to me. And I feel like I'm working hard to maintain that.
We will rejoin our conversation in just a moment. Thank you for listening to the Redirect Podcast. We appreciate your support. Do you love what you're hearing? Don't keep it to yourself. Follow the Redirect Podcast on Apple Podcast and Spotify, and never miss an episode that inspires your next chapter in life's journey. While you're there, hit a 5-star rating, leave a review, and share your favorite episode with a friend who's ready for their own life pivot. And don't forget to join the conversation on Instagram at The Redirect Podcast. Comment, tag us, and let us know how you are redirecting your journey. Now let's get back to today's conversation.
Curt, are you maintaining meaningful relationships and or connecting with old relationships?
Yes, and a lot of similarity to what Dale said. I mean, when I see the word or hear the word meaningful relationships, I think of you guys. It's been great, and I hope it continues to develop and get even deeper. Connecting with others, again, relatively new, still in the area. I'm still working through the group of people that I have experienced to this date. And hopefully I'm going to be getting more and more relationships. So I have to nurture these special relationships that are showing up. I have to, like Dale said, be more open to connection of other opportunities. And then there's the part of reconnecting. So,
which I know you're passionate about. You look for those opportunities. Yeah. Which is cool. Yeah. That inspires me.
There's nothing more important than people and being a part of people's lives. And, you made the comment earlier about the meaningful relationship. Now, how am I about creating new relationships or reconnecting? Am I doing that? And I'm going to say I'm not as much as I'd like to.
Next question. Are you incorporating regular exercise and healthy habits into your routine?
I'll jump in there first. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. You've heard me talk. I do walks. I have this part-time gig that I do at a nursery it's an outlet that's 3 acres in size, meaning the building, and it's on a 300-acre property. When I work there, I do probably about 14 miles a day in walking there. I do golf. I yard work. I'm getting into cycling, but I need to get more consistent without having a repetitive routine. And that I was talking to Jackie about this the other night, and she says, why don't you create a list? And then when you wake up in the morning, you look at that list and say, today I'm going to do this. So I'm like, that's brilliant. It's sort of creating a freshness all the time as opposed to the structure of a routine schedule, which drives me batty. But I'm feeling I'm getting exercise, but I know that I got to keep going because the less you do, the more you'll feel it later.
Yeah.
How about you, Dale?
Yeah, I'd said no, and it was no more in a particular area. I do a lot of cycling, so that's great. I'm really happy to be able to do that and do that with friends. And it's things I love to do. I got started swimming again when we were talking about swimming the other day. I said, yeah, back in the pool, swam 1,000 and said, you know what, this has got to be part of a routine. My challenge is in the area of strength training. I don't enjoy, having to run over to the club and do weights. But we have to in this part of our life. My, aerobic workouts, are regular because I love doing them, and I love playing golf, and you go out and walk, 10, 12,000 steps, especially when you can only drive on the cart path. And my ball is always on the other side of the fairway, which happened 18 holes yesterday. And I think I got in like 22,000 steps, which is an indication of how poorly I played because I was not trying to hit the ball. But I don't want to do the things that I'm not getting any joy out of. However, I know that I've got to do more strength training, and it's going to have to be a routine. So that's what's got to fix.
Next question. It's more of a state of mind. Are you feeling content and fulfilled with your redirection so far? Dale?
No, I think it's a work in progress, and I'm not content yet because I feel like I'm just starting on the adventure. So I can't say that I'm in a content. I'm fulfilled. I have a great family. I have great kids. I have great friends. I'm waiting for also what's going to be on top of that. So, amend my question. Yes, to probably fulfilled, am I, content with it? No, I'm still looking for the more adventures and I don't think that's going to be it. So yes and no.
How about you, Curt?
No. Okay. No. And that's been sort of my life. I guess I'm going to say it. I don't allow myself to have that content and fulfilled feeling for some reason. When we were talking earlier about goals and such, the nature of my work and my character and personality is such as always focusing on the next thing. I've had so many years of that. I am trying so hard to break that habit of not focusing on the next thing, just embrace the now. my next journey in this life of redirection is that I need to slow down. I need to see and experience the fun in life. I need to find joy in the littlest of things, because this life is so precious, and there's so many great things that happen, but I need to find the joy in the littlest things, which then makes it different.
I struggle with contentment, the word contentment, and I'm sure we'll talk about this at a future podcast sometime. But contentment still feels for me of stopping the adventures. I know contentment is living in the moment when I'm not busy, and I'm still in the mindset for 6 months of running after things. And if I'm doing that, I don't feel like that's being content. And I could be wrong. Am I happy? I'm so blessed every day. There's so much gratitude to have. Yet it doesn't stop me from charging ahead. Just I'm working on that. That's my work in progress. 6 months in.
Next question. What do you need to let go of? What do you need to let go of? Dale, let's start with you.
That's a great question. What do I need to let go of? I need to let go of feeling like I've got to know where I'm charging ahead to. It goes back to the goals and everything else, and I've got to learn more about it, but I've got to let go of that neurodivergency, which is going to be really hard to do, but I have to manage it. And that is just this kind of insane drive to continually achieve things. We were talking about this earlier this week at a crossroads thing. I need to sit in this space, and be okay with feeling whatever it is, and be okay with that, instead of running around it and going to do something else so I can stop that feeling. I'm still a character of running and going after things. I gotta let go of doing that.
Curt?
What do I need to let go of? Curt being hard on Curt. I have very high expectations of me that I can never accomplish. I shouldn't say never accomplish.
You have a standard for yourself you'll never achieve.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say, because what I know about you is, yes, it doesn't surprise me you would say you're hard on Curt, but you have goals for yourself that are like humanly unachievable. Not like this, I want to accomplish this task, but your state of being that you're trying to accomplish is humanly unattainable.
I don't know about that, but I have this need to produce, which I've mentioned before. It's okay to be a producer, but I have to let go of, why do I want to produce? I have to stop assuming what other people may think.
But I gotta amend my answer a little bit, Adam, because Curt has sparked a couple things that I've got to mention. In a conversation with a couple guys we were paired up with on the golf course yesterday, we started having this conversation, and I said, one of the things I literally said I got to let go of was producing income for 40 years. But feeling like all of a sudden you're taking from that is still something I struggle with. I'm still thinking about, oh, wait a second. How do I make money so they can now offset the expenses that are coming in? I gotta be okay with knowing that I don't have to produce in that traditional way of bringing money into the household. But I think it's a big transition item.
Last question. Are you enjoying retirement?
Yes.
Curt?
Yes, I am. You heard me say it beforehand. Both Dale and I have talked about it. The freedom. It's like, yes, I can breathe. However, I don't necessarily think I've completely embraced it. And I still have this little backward feeling. I'm not in vacation mode because I've been in a year and 9 months. But I sort of feel like I'm sort of on a sabbatical. That there's still something else out there. And let it be the Redirect You and Redirect Podcast, Redirect Experience, whatever. So I haven't completely embraced it, but I am enjoying it because Adam, it sure as hell beats the alternative. I'm sorry. I keep praying for you that you have this opportunity to join us at some point.
Curt, I don't know if you experience this, but I call it the Sunday night effect. I don't have to think about work on Sunday night anymore. It's one of those little things of living in the present that I was talking about. All of a sudden, it's like I go on vacation and I know that I don't have to worry about what I'm going to face when I come back. I'm going on vacation, enjoying that vacation. And when we get back, we get back. Then that's part of that freedom, but it's also part of not feeling I have to be responsible about the business when it comes to prepping. Sunday night's a great opportunity to think about the week ahead. And it's like, now I should be thinking about, so what am I going to do with my redirection for that week? And spending time on that is a lot more fun than doing it for business.
Hey, Adam, I got a question for you. First of all, I want to say thank you for leading this conversation and sort of calling Dale and myself out on how we are right now. I think this is great. And I'd love to do this again. When Dale's...
let's do this every so often.
Every 6 months.
Every 6 months.
Right? Let's do that. I think this is great. But my question is for you, is that knowing what we represent and finding purpose in retirement, and you hearing our answers, anything surprise you? Are we authentic to what we're trying to do? What's your feedback?
So I think it's a good segue into the scoring, because I am a little surprised by how well I think I know you guys and the yes, no, maybes of your answers. Curt, you had 4 yeses of 8 questions that we got to answer, a couple of opinion-based things, but of the yes-no questions, we asked 8 yes-no questions, and you answered 4 yes, 3 no, and 1 maybe. Dale, you said 3 yeses, 4 no's, and 1 maybe. That is surprising to me that 6 months and, a year and 9 months in to your retirement, I'm a little surprised that you're not more assertively, yes, I'm killing it. It speaks to me that there's balance to find, there's a struggle to work through, that whether it's social, financial, behavioral, time management, priority management, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. You're out there striving and living it, and so the thing that speaks to me is it's real. It's still real life.
Yep. It's work in progress from my perspective. That would be my summary. I think we're gonna be spending a lot of time. It'll be fun going back, in 6 months and finding out how we do. But I think bottom line is we love the opportunity, and we struggle with the best way to do it.
Yeah,
and we're looking for that, and that to me is part of the adventure. You're going to take paths that go the wrong or go a way that all of a sudden that wasn't right. Good, and so I like that. While I probably had more no's than Curt, I think it comes from going and looking hard for what do we ultimately want to make this next 30 years, realizing it might be the next week or 30 years. We don't know.
I've made this comment a couple of times. I'm not constantly living on a high. I really am not. And that's also my personality. But
it's real life.
Yeah, it's real life. You're exactly right. This is real life and doing things that you want to do, and you still find hiccups in the road, which is sort of fascinating. But then again, it's being deliberate.
We got to wrap things up for today. Thank you guys. Appreciate all of the candid and vulnerable responses. And let's do another checkup, another wellness check for redirection next time on the Redirect Podcast.
If you enjoyed today's episode, you can find more of our content on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as Instagram. Have questions or want to connect? Drop us a line at info@redirect-u.com. We'd love to hear from you. Remember, there's purpose in your life, so find it and go do something about it.